something you should know. I have never really liked you at all. I cannot hide it anymore. I've been thinking about the future, trying to forget about the past. So many ways that I could change for the better. Don't
This is a true crime discussions channel. We speculate. This is all just speculation. Because it's true crime, it's for mature audiences only. There will be no children allowed, no exceptions. Everything on this channel falls under fair use. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It's free.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. It's good to see you all. I saw Eek and Trixie, Tina Marie. Good morning. Jenny Jen. Who else? Joy. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. It's good to see you all here. I wanted to let you know that I did look for the Stephen Stearns hearing, and I'm not able to find it yet. Hopefully, it will be on. I did check Court TV Live, and they're talking about the Leilani case. I think some more things have come out about the judge too. So I don't know exactly what all we're going to get into. We'll watch the video I put out yesterday first while we wait for some of that stuff to come on and see what all we can talk about. And if we talk about something I haven't put in the thumbnail, then I'll just change the thumbnail. Oh, thank you, Eek. Oh, I'm sorry. Good morning, Manifesting It. I did not see you. Welcome in. It's good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Okay, hold on just a minute, and I'll get this pulled up. Y'all, did y'all see that the modems were on in the storage unit? I noticed that when I was putting that video together. Like, I noticed it because I had to do it like 6 times. It was so annoying. I was like doing that video for hours. But I noticed it because I had to look at it like 6 times, and I was like, holy crap, the modems are on. That's why he went to the storage unit that night, to get rid of the hard drives or something. Good morning, Leah. I don't see you, but good morning. Oh, there you are. Good morning, Leah. Good morning. All right, so we'll watch this and then we'll see what's going on as far as court TV and trials. If nothing else, I know Vinnie Politan Investigates has got more information on the judge, that the sheriff that shot the judge. So we'll look into something. We'll get into something. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start this.
Photo drop video. I'm still barely halfway through, so there's definitely going to be 4 videos at least.
4-11313. Today's date is February 27th, 2024. The time is...
So this is what was in the top compartment of the center console, which, if I'm being honest, I mean, it all seems normal to me. I have a knife in my center console. A nail file. I don't have a nail file. I can't, when I try to file my nails like that, the sound it makes, and like it gives me goosebumps. Oh, good morning, Leah, again, from work. I'm glad that you're here with us. Also, I wanted to tell y'all, I'm thinking about making, like, I post daily in the membership category, but I'm thinking about doing something like, if you're a member, you get to see a video maybe like 3 hours early or something. Y'all can let me know what you think about that.
Is 23:32 hours. Gonna speak with Jennifer Soto. Hey, Jennifer.
I think that's just like was already in the car, because remember they said it was the poodle ambulance. So I don't think that was Maddie's, although it does look like a child's thing. Good morning, Barb. Did they do, I'm not sure. I know that the trial starts today, because when I was looking on, let me highlight your comment. When I was looking on Court TV Live for the Stephen Stearns hearing, I saw that they've got an upcoming live, and it's the Leilani trial. So I'm assuming jury selection has started. So I want to like kind of maybe touch on that and see what's going on with that trial today if we can't find anything on Stephen.
I haven't introduced myself. My name's Myra Tagloke. I'm a detective with the Sheriff's Office. Do you mind if I talk to you?
Oh, and I was just trying to put old interviews in the background. So these interviews that you hear in the background are ones that we've already played and that are on the channel. I was just trying to give y'all something to listen to while you saw these photos. And I feel weird, like putting music behind it. You know what I mean? So I figured I'd just do the interviews and y'all could listen to them again, I guess. Good morning, Leonore. Good morning.
Do you mind if we talk over there by the car?
Can I do it inside?
That's fine.
Yeah. Where? Inside the house?
In the car.
Yeah. Our car?
Yeah. Oh, look at the baby.
Good morning, in Estem. Good morning. Good morning. Nice to see you. And Estem says the jury has been selected. Opening statements today. Okay, so that's what's going on. Leah's angry about the flatmates interview with Natalie. I agree. I'm angry about a lot of this. Just to reiterate, the Stephen Stearns thing today is for the CSA photos. And people are saying he probably won't even show up again. So we'll see if I can find it.
Does it lock?
No, it should be fine.
Okay. Over here,
Are we
please.
going to be able to go back home soon?
I'll explain it in a second. Okay? I have
Aw.
a question too before we get
Leonore, I'm
started.
glad that you got an outlet, honey.
Somebody said something like somebody in here has a gun. Is that a true statement or a false statement?
That's a true statement.
Okay, where is this gun at right now?
It is upstairs in the guest bedroom.
It's not like in any of these cars out here.
No, I don't believe so. I think it's upstairs.
Eek, my love. Sometimes they don't have to show up to trial. You can remember the Harmony Montgomery case. Her dad didn't even come to trial, not the first time. I think it's an option. Like, they don't necessarily have to show up to their hearing, but some judges will make them. I hope they make Stephen show up. I really do. He needs to be put out there on blast like that for what he did.
In the guest bedroom number 4.
What's up with all the gloves?
Okay, how certain are we of that?
This is the front passenger seat.
As far as I know, the gun is inside upstairs. I haven't heard of it being in the car.
Okay.
Now, a lot of people...
let me just move my purse.
A lot of people talk about the dog leashes, and in his car, there are dog leashes like attached to the seats in the car. However, just putting it out there, it could be for them, for his dad to hold the dogs in the seat, like to get them to sit down and stay when they go to the vet. But it is weird for it to be in the passenger seat like it was. Like that one, I have to question if he was using it to maybe try to hold Maddie up that day. Because, I mean, I would think if you're using it as like a poodle mobile, it would be normal to see leashes on the seat like that to try to get the dog to sit down and not be running all over the place. But not on the passenger seat, in my opinion.
If you want to take
I could be incorrect. I'm not sure.
Yeah, the blood. Again, it was like a dog mobile, but there is a lot of blood in there, but it could be from the poodles. JR said yesterday that, you know, once a body starts to decompose, they leak fluid. So it could be some of that stuff too. Oh, thank you, Barb. I don't know if Stephen ever mentioned the dog story. I don't think so. I think it was just his dad that said it was the poodle mobile, because when the cops were talking to him, he said, just to let you guys know, there's blood in there, but it's from the poodles. Like if they are giving birth or having trouble or have to go to the vet, then he uses that car that Stephen was driving to take them, which again tells me that Stephen didn't even have the capability to buy his own daggone vehicle. But it could be, I mean, there was a lot. So it makes me wonder if it's also some type of bodily fluids. We know Madeline wouldn't have been bleeding because she was choked. But by the time he was moving, her decomp would have set in and there could have been some fluids coming out. Yeah, you guys are saying a lot of really important things. I agree.
want to start the car and just give me 1 second?
So
let me make this.
yeah, there's some of the stuff, and like, okay, if we're gonna go with they had the leashes in the back to keep the dogs there, why is there blood or what looks like blood in the front seat floorboard? That could be the back, but still, that's weird. He supposedly walked the dog at 7:30. My mod Jenny Jim would probably know the exact time, but I think like I don't know if Stefan ever mentions it or not. And in this video, we're going to see how one of her Crocs is in the dumpster, but the other one was in Jennifer's room. So again, you got a question, did Jennifer know more than what she's saying? Right, Leonore?
I know it's not the most comfortable,
They do.
but at least you won't be cold over there.
Barb, thank you so much for the super chats. You don't have to super chat to talk. I just wanted you to know that. But thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I meant the story about putting the leash on. So I don't know. Putting the leash on the dog supposedly happened in Jennifer's room before he took the dog for a walk. Now, driving the car and having the leashes in the car could be from his dad using that car as the poodle ambulance. I don't know how long Stefan was driving that car and if he would still have the leashes in there for the poodle ambulance or not. So it's all questionable, right? Thank you, Leonore. Goodness. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Leah says he was at the trash bin at 7:30, filmed throwing Maddie's school bag in the dumpster. So again, if he's supposed to be walking the dog at that time and he's throwing the stuff in the bin at that time, then did he walk the dog at all? Jennifer says he did. I don't know if he said he did. I can't remember. But yeah, did he take the dog with him to the dumpster? That's a good question. Barb says he never mentioned it about going in Jen Soto's room. Right. Okay. So thank you for that. He never mentioned it. So, but she does. She makes sure to tell everybody she comes into contact with that he walked the dog. Right? I mean, it's weird. Leah says, did he take the dog with him to the dumpster? It's possible. That's a good question. I'd like to see.
I get cold super easy.
Yeah, I get him the same way, so I understand. Do you want to take a seat right over here? And then she's gonna. Don't worry about the door.
Oh, thank you, Leonore. Okay. Yeah, this bag is weird. It's like covered in something. Jen says that initially Jen said between 8 and 8:30, but afterwards said it could have been around 7:15 or 7:30. So yeah, which is it, Jen? Or did it even happen at all? Yep, Barb, never walked the dog before. That's a good question, manifesting. Did he already put her in the car? Was she God knows where, upstairs or something?
Every college student needs to have Grammarly. And
did y'all see all that stuff on that orange bag? It's a lawn and garden bag, but it looks like blood. See, there's a cane and an umbrella. Like, obviously, that's his dad's. So some of the stuff is still in there.
Sorry, this is.
Oh, let me get this trigger warning up.
There we go. Okay, so I'm not sure if he introduced himself, but his name is Luis Acosta. Okay. We
I'm
both
wondering,
work for Orange County Sheriff's Office.
Is that mold? I mean, I think that's mold, like a moldy blanket, right?
So I understand you spoke with the other guy earlier with Detective Frank Hunt. Is that correct? Yeah. Okay.
Barb, it's possible.
We have officially taken over the case, okay? So
are you guys with Kissimmee?
No, we're with Orange County. It's just a different unit.
Oh, okay. What unit are you with?
We're with
Look at that. We all know what that is. Why is that in the car on a blanket? What are you doing in the car? I don't understand why there's a blanket with that on it in your car. Did you bring it from the house? But it looks like a blanket you would just keep in the car, like a crappy moving blanket or something.
times. Okay. It's just because of her age.
Oh my God, Leah, I didn't know that.
Is why we take over. Does that make sense? I know it's kind of confusing, but like we have like different rules.
Yeah, Leah,
in Orange County. And depending on like
goodness,
people's
Barb,
age,
that's a horrible image in my mind.
we sometimes take over investigation when it comes to missing persons. Okay. Does that make sense? Yeah. So.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Tony.
When you talked to him earlier, I kind of got like a brief synopsis of what happened.
You, Jenny.
I understand you have a new job. Yes. Okay. And if I say anything.
Okay, so they got this tire out of the car. There's one by the storage unit, which could have been from somebody else, but they collected it. And then there was one in the trash dump. So how many damn tires did he shred? Because there's at least positively 2. There's one they pulled out of the dumpster and one they pulled out of the car. How many tires got shredded is my question. There's 2, possibly 3. That's weird.
Anything that's incorrect, please correct me, okay? You have a new job, and last night
I agree.
You asked them to go sleep upstairs because you wanted to get rest. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. What time was this? Do you remember? It doesn't have to be like exact time, but like just. Oh, and then yesterday Sunday she had her birthday party, right?
Dude, Leah, did you see Jen Soto's car? Like at the end of this video, all the marks on the side. I'm like, Jesus, was Jen driving around so messed up that she's just running into everything? Or did Stefan do that going to move Madeline's poor body? Like, did you see the side of it? We'll see it in a minute. But I'm like, holy shit, is this woman driving around and just so out of her mind that she's just la-di-da-di-da and then running into shit? I was like, my Lord, what is this car? This car's been through hell.
Okay, what time was that party at?
Dusty Pear.
It started at 3 o'clock. Okay, from 3 to what time? I'm not sure. I wasn't there. I was at work. Oh, okay, you weren't there.
Dusty Pear, I have been looking, and I'm trying to see if they're going to stream it. We're watching this now. Court TV Live is doing the Leilani case, the Leilani Quentin Simon trial. But I'm going to look again and see if I can find anything at all after we watch this video. They might not televise it, but we should get some kind of update at some point. I'm sure news media will be there, but I don't know if the judge is going to allow cameras to be on in the courtroom. I am going to continue to try to find it, though. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody, for being here and all your lovely comments, thoughts, and opinions and speculations.
But I know my sister home around 8:30.
That's a good point, Barb.
Was Stefan here at that time?
I'm not sure if he was here at the time, but I think he got here a little bit after. And he was like, okay, she was already doing what she was supposed to. She had taken her nighttime meds and she was getting ready for bed, like taking a shower. She'd take showers at night.
This was by the
So he's like, okay, she was already on it. I didn't get home until, I'm going to say 10:30.
Where it was. Right?
And then at 11, I sent them to bed.
Did Stefan make it to the party?
No.
I sent them to bed like it's her 2 children. One of them is her children, but one of them is supposed to be her boyfriend that she sent them to bed. Let me go in there and tell my husband, babe, it's time for you to go to bed. I'm sending you to bed. He's going to be like, I don't know who you think you are, but I go to bed when I want to. Thank you very much. Good morning, Francis.
And then once you get here, you said you sent her to bed at 11. And the following morning, well, I'm sorry, let me backtrack a little bit. You send them upstairs, right? How many bedrooms are upstairs?
3.
Okay.
Where?
Right, Leah? Thank you, Francis, for that.
In bedroom number 4. Okay.
Yeah, Joy, I wouldn't doubt it.
And what about Stefan? Bedroom number 4. Okay. Is it normal for both of them to sleep in the same room? Sometimes. When I really need a good night's sleep, I will send them upstairs. But when also a lot of times,
Tony, I wondered the same thing.
We will sleep together in the king size bed, all 3 of us.
I wondered the same thing because my husband has off work today for Columbus Day, and I was like, well, are they going to televise it? Are they open? But then I went back and watched, and the judge set the hearing for October 14th, because when they said it yesterday on the live, I was like, wait a minute, it's Columbus Day. Let me check that. And there's a video clip of the judge setting it for October 14th, and they have the Leilani trial saying they're going to televise it when it gets started. So I'm guessing they do still have court today. But my husband has off, which is weird. I would think if what he does has off, then government agencies would, for sure. But they don't, evidently. I don't know.
Us, or sometimes Stefan will go upstairs and in our bed alone. So it just really depends on what's going on that night with our schedules and what we're doing. Okay, where were you sleeping? Downstairs in the king size bed. Leah. Okay, is it just you two here, or you guys have a roommate, right? We have 2 roommates, and one of the roommates has a son who's here.
Thank you, Jen.
Like a little bit more than half the week. So what rooms do you guys use? The room downstairs, the master bedroom downstairs, and room number 4. Okay. So
okay. I thought I might be muted. There's one leash, okay? And for it to be in the back seat like that makes sense, because if you're taking the poodles to the vet, you would want them to stay sitting back here or in the back seat area, so they're not like running up there and getting all over where you're trying to drive at and in the floorboard and stuff. So it makes sense for that to be there for me. Like, I could see that as a possibility. But the one in the front seat, I mean, I guess if he was driving by himself and had the poodle in the front seat beside him, it would be acceptable. But like, I still question, because Stefan had that car for a while. So would he have not moved it if you like had Madeline sitting in the front seat, or you were taking somebody somewhere, or did you use it to hold Madeline up, is my question.
I'm sorry, it wasn't last night. It was the night before. Stefan slept in bedroom number 4, and you slept downstairs. Yes. In the master. Okay. What time did you wake up? I'm going to say around 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, Stefan it's hard to tell their voice apart.
And was trying to put the leash on the dog. Somewhere between, I'm going to say somewhere between, he came into the room somewhere between 8 and 8:15.
That's possible.
He came in to put the leash on the dog, and I got up to try to help him because my dog is kind of a nervous dog, and I didn't want him to pee on the bed.
Thank you, Jen.
So we wrangled him, put him on his leash, and he said, "Go back to sleep." And I said, "Okay." So I laid back and went
wrangled
back to
the
sleep.
dog.
Okay.
That's
I heard people in the kitchen
on the floor.
I'm not sure exactly who was in the kitchen. As far as I know, I came downstairs to get ready in her. So she's got
that is the
she's kind of got a bedroom in the living room. If you go into the apartment, you'll see there's like one of those fake walls. Separating half the bedroom. She's got like a desk with a bedroom and a TV and a dresser. But she'll hang out there during the day, but she never sleeps there.
Barb, that's true. They did televise the Harmony Montgomery trial, and it was graphic. But this, in order to properly display what all this monster has done as far as the images go, they're going to have to probably show those images in court. And so it would make sense to me that it's not going to be televised because of the graphic content that it is. I mean, it's going to be real hard for anybody to look at. And if somebody you don't want things like that out there for the public to see. Like, even I have got documents and files and photos of things, but they're not sending out any of that stuff because it's just too much. Even the police having to look at it is just horrible. And I could see why they wouldn't televise that one in particular, but we might get an update. So I'll keep an eye out on that. Like if it's, hopefully we'll get an update while we're still live. If not, I will talk about the update tomorrow. But we're going to see, I'm going to try to look into the Leilani Simon case, and we might look into the judge and the sheriff too. Oh,
She
sorry.
sleeps with me.
So this is where they pulled the dump truck in, and they had to go through everything in the dumpster and everything that was in that trash truck to try to get Maddie's stuff, to find her stuff and pull it out. Good morning, Cozy. Good morning. Good morning. Good to see you. So they had the trash truck come to wherever they are, I guess a area at the police station or somewhere, and then they had to dump out all that trash, and then they have to go through all that trash. Oh yeah, that's true. They televised Gannon Stout, and that was graphic, but it still wasn't CSA images. You know what I mean? But yeah, that was.
And then the rare occasion upstairs, but most of the time it's with me.
Okay.
Good morning, Corey. Be safe driving.
On Monday morning,
Visually see her? No.
did you hear her?
I heard many people in the kitchen. I'm not sure if it was my roommate or her specifically.
Okay, is your roommate a male or a female?
Female.
Boy says hi, Cozy.
Okay.
They're both females.
When was the last time you physically saw?
Wednesday,
Right?
11 o'clock. I'm sorry.
Barb, great minds think alike, because it brought up that for me too. I was like thinking about the Quentin Simon case when I saw all this trash here like that. Great minds think alike.
Sunday, 11 o'clock.
Sunday when you sent her to bed.
That's a good point, Jenny.
Well, and then when you woke up, you said you woke up briefly because Stefan went in there. Did you go back to sleep?
Yes.
What time did you get up?
Eek and Jenny say hi, Cozy.
Let me see if I actually have my alarm set. No, I don't have the specific day on there. Let me check something.
There's that lone
I'm
cross.
pretty sure I woke up around 9 o'clock in the morning, and then I left at 9:30.
But the other one was in Jennifer's room, and I've got that photo. I just got to get it. I'm going through all these, and then I'll post the ones like that. There's gloves in the woods. There's her crock. The other one was in the room. It's all like, whoa. Like, how was her crock in the room, but you didn't know what was going on? That's weird, right? I think so.
I had an appointment.
I had a doctor's appointment at like 10:15.
I do too,
But they took a while. And then by the time they did my blood work and whatever, I think I got home somewhere between 11 and 11:15.
Okay. When you got back, was Stefan here?
I'm pretty sure he was, yeah.
What was he doing?
Just sitting in my room. At my computer desk on his phone.
Okay. What did you guys do?
We chatted for a little bit. I asked him what had happened because he had called me earlier at 10. Let me see.
Look at this monster. Can't stand him.
Pretty sure he called me around 10:18.
What did he call you for?
To let me know.
There's an up close of the crest, and it is the family crest, but it says Sustenance at the bottom, which is his Reddit name.
To let me know that he didn't go to McDonald's as planned. He had asked her multiple times if she wanted to stop at McDonald's because that was the plan the night before. That they were going to wake up early. He was going to take her to McDonald's, do like a special McDonald's breakfast, and then drop her off at school early because she wanted to get there a little early. But on his way to school, she was very sleepy and wanted to sleep in the car. And
that's his leg. They showed a lot of picture. That's his upper leg, and I'm going to leave that at that. I was trying to get like where they were taking pictures of his leg for some reason. I guess there's a distinguishing mark. I couldn't show all of those pictures because it was way too graphic. But They're trying to take a picture of something. I couldn't figure out what it was on his leg.
She said she did not want to do McDonald's.
Okay.
She just wanted to be dropped off.
His hands right here. What if you're changing a car and the jack falls on your hand, it's not going to make scratch marks like that. You're going to have a bruise and it's going to be smashed. It's not, these are scratch marks.
Okay. Also to let me know that he left his phone at home.
His Reddit name is Sustenance, and yes, we went through, I read his comments and his history. He was posting on teen forums and things. There's a live about it, and then I did a video about some of the most like questionable things, and it's on my profile. It's like red, and it says Reddit on it. But that's talking about that. If you want to see what all he was posting on his Reddit, it was crazy. See, these are scratch marks. They're not like where a car jack fell on your hand, right? Good morning, Paranormal Rooster. Good morning. Good to see you.
Because I had called him multiple times and he hadn't picked up. He had left his phone at home by accident. He had went to the vape shop.
I think she fought for her life.
But they didn't open on time.
I think
he had waited for quite a while
trying to get his hands away from around her neck. That right there, that little bump is not from a jack falling on your hand. That's scratch marks from, like, if you're choking somebody, them trying to scratch to pull your hands off of their throat. As graphic as that is, I'm sorry, but that's what that is. I mean, in my opinion.
They didn't open, so he left and came back, and we hung out a little bit, and then I think he left
again have fun
to the vape shop to go buy what he needed.
Okay.
Do you want the name of the vape shop?
Yes. If you have it at the top of your mind, I'm sure we're going to talk again soon. And
it's about to show the side of this car, and I'm like,
damn, girl. That might be helpful if you want to see, like,
what are you doing?
Surveillance.
Just driving down the road, hitting everything you see.
Okay, so at some point, I understand he gets like a flat tire, and he's not able to go with you to pick school.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you get to the school, how do you realize that she wasn't there?
So I went to go. I usually leave around 2:30.
Good morning, Ollie.
She gets out of school at 4.
Good morning.
So I wait it takes me about 20-25 minutes to get to the school, and then I wait about an hour for her to get out.
Uh-huh.
I waited the whole time.
Yeah, they did.
And then when the bell rang, and then it was time for her to come out, she wasn't one of the first kids like she normally is.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized I was holding up the line.
I hope everyone behind me had children. Jen says the
and they needed to get out because I was the first in line.
Thank you, Jen.
So after about, I'm going to say, I think it was like 4:10, she didn't come out and I was holding up the line. So I drove away. I said, maybe I forgot to tell her that I was picking her up that day, because I don't know if she knew that I wasn't working that day. But I had assumed that she thought, she knew that I was going to go get her. So because she never came out, I left and I went.
Mm-hmm.
She works less than, I'm going to say it's like a 3-minute drive from the school. Mm-hmm. It's very close. She works
in the
Hunter Creek Villages area.
The storage unit photos.
I drove that way, and I drove along the path that she would walk, and I didn't see her. And then office, I asked, hey, has she gotten here yet? They said no. And I said, okay, let me wait a little bit. And I parked back again on Hunter's Park Lane, I think. And I waited along that lane to see if I would see her walking. And I didn't see her walking. And it was about 4:30, 4:35. At this point, she should have.
There's another tire, and it looks like the one that was on Stefan's car. So, do you got another daggum flat? Goodness.
So I went back to the office, and then
I did hear that, Leonore.
Ollie and Anna.
Oh, Ollie, I'm so happy for you. I'm glad you got gifted a membership. I can't stand her voice either. In a
Are you? I don't know if I told her I was picking her up from school today or to walk to the
my
office,
bad.
but I
You
don't see
did
her
the wrong
anywhere. And she
thing.
goes, no, she never came to school today. She didn't come to first or second period.
Oh,
And I
that's
said,
so fun,
what do you mean?
paranormal. I
We
love
dropped her off
doing that
close
stuff.
to school. She should have walked to school. She goes, no, she never made it to any of her periods. And I said, can you please check with your other friends in your
Yeah,
other
y'all go
classes to
sub
see if
up
she ever made it?
Cozy.
She got back to me and said no. At this
But
point, I
watch
started
it.
to panic because I realized something was
I
wrong.
think is how you say it.
Um,
Music.
I emailed one of her teachers,
Go
a few of her
check.
teachers actually, and one of them responded to me. He said
Go
she
check
didn't
what,
make it
babe?
to his period at all, and he checked all her other classes, and she didn't make it to school at all.
Hi, Sarah Lee.
That's when I knew something
Hi.
was truly wrong. And I'm before that email or after that email.
Sarah Lee, I submit requests to like police office, sheriff's departments and things like that. The Florida has the sunshine law where you can request that stuff and they can send it to you and you can get it. And then I do my own, like I put it together to make the videos, or I do overlays over ones that are just audio files and things like that. But you can just request and they'll usually send it to you. Some of them, like Tennessee, Arkansas, you have to be a resident of that state to get those. Actually, Jenna, I've been meaning to tell you, I have requested like 3 times the Naziah case, the other 13-year-old girl that was pregnant and got murdered. I'm waiting on to hear back about that. But I've also got several out, so hopefully we'll have some new stuff soon. Oh, sorry, Leonore. You asked me to go check. What did you need me to go check?
But I started panicking and freaking out because she should have been to school. She should have made it.
And
Yes,
then
Sarah
I
Lee.
understand
Before
she
you
forgot the
request,
phone,
yep.
right?
Yeah.
Is it common for her to not have her phone?
Yes. She's got
Paranormal
ADHD.
Rooster.
She's super forgetful. She doesn't even. She never realizes that she's in the shower for a whole hour. She loses track of time. She's very.
Okay. This has power. You see the green lights right there? This is on and in the storage unit. And remember, they talk about him going down to that area where his parents live at, and they could never figure out where he went. Well, it looks to me like he went to the storage unit to get rid of some evidence or check some evidence or something, because he sure left everything on. I mean, you didn't even disconnect it and try to look like shit was just being stored there. You just left it on. What are you doing, Stefan?
And then you guys went looking for her, right?
Yes.
Where did you look? Like, did you drive
All
somewhere?
that stuff's plugged in and
Did you
on.
walk?
The green
Like,
light
where
right
did you
there.
go look for her?
Okay. So
It's on. Why is it
after
on?
her
What
best
are you
friend
doing
called
in
me,
there?
actually, or I talked to her best friend on the phone.
You know, it makes sense that he would be selling and distributing and receiving CSA images on the internet, because if you ever get hit, like with the VPN, and they trace your shit back, they're tracing it back to a storage unit. They're not tracing it back to your house or your parents' house or anything like that. Like, that setup's going to trace it back to the storage unit, and you got time to destroy the evidence. Just speculating. I mean, it seems like a creeper setup for me. That seems like exactly what that is. Good morning, Miss Yoga. Good morning. Or Yogi, I'm sorry. Good morning. Good morning.
I went back to the school to see. Let me check her official attendance. Let me see what's going on.
It might
were
not
already
be.
closed.
It might just
Nobody
be
was at
his
school.
for
So I
perverted
searched
stuff.
by backtracking into the school and then coming back out and seeing that there were no kids at the school at all. So then I drove office. Everything was driving.
Maybe,
and then
Trixie.
I think that
I do too.
response from her teacher at that point. But
Yep, Cozy.
Did you come back to the apartment at any point yesterday? Once you realized
Really,
she was
Leonore?
missing?
Stefan was at home.
Yep, I agree.
Waiting for us to get back. And then
thank
when
you,
I told him something was wrong, she never
agree,
made
and
it to school. He completely hauled it back to me. And then we all stood there waiting for the cops to show up, and they didn't show up till like 7:30. It took them a while to respond. I think they were looking for other missing kids around the area too. But yeah, no, we did not come back home until we were done with the police. We were done with everything. There was nothing else for us to do. Just except come back.
Where was her phone when all of this was happening?
With me.
Let me write that down.
How did you get the phone if you never came back
I've
here?
got a pen in here. It's always
I took it with me to go pick her up from school. I was going to give it to her when she got in the car and be like, listen, you forgot your phone again, and let her play on it. I'll do that sometimes when she forgets it. I bring the phone with me and I just give it to her afterwards. But I had brought it with me to go pick her up from school.
Okay. And you works where?
We'll look into that, Leonore, when we get done with this.
Thank you. The address exactly.
Yeah. And then, did you at any point check her phone out while you had it?
Yes.
Tell me about it.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Leah,
actually,
no doubt.
I started looking, but I could not concentrate on reading anything. I was too panicked and too worried. I handed the phone to my sister. She's the one, and my niece.
See, there's the one that was the front seat, showing the lease in the front seat.
I saw her text. Nothing seemed weird. No weird random people.
Cozy,
everyone is someone I was familiar with or had heard about.
Sarah,
they checked
Sarah,
her
I hope so. I hope they found all of it.
They checked her Discord. I checked her Discord as well. There was nothing weird.
Because again, I don't know how you can look at the setup in the storage unit and not think that immediately. That's what I immediately think. It's a hub for distributing CSA images. I mean, that's the only thing that makes sense to me personally. You're not going there to write reports for your job or something, not in a closed off storage unit with no air and no heat. No, you're doing some nefarious shit, in my opinion.
One of the police officers taught me to look at deleted text messages. We looked at those as well. They were random text messages deleted. They weren't anything.
Do you remember where you were when you were looking at her phone?
Yes.
Leah, that's weird to me too. I don't know how you checked her phone, went through her text messages and all of that, and there was never anything weird between her and Stefan. I don't believe that. Like, even if Stefan kept all the images on his phone, there still would have been some weird text messages, some code words or something. Like, I don't believe it. Right, Cozy?
Is it okay if I call her? Yes. I'll get the exact address.
And then while she answers, were you guys, when you guys were looking for her, did you guys keep looking for her in the Hunters Creek area or somewhere else?
Hunters Creek area.
Okay. Did you guys come back here at any point?
No.
What time did you guys come back home?
Oh, yeah, Miss Yogi, they did. So maybe there wasn't anything in text messages. Maybe it was all on Facebook.
Hold on a second.
Good morning, One Law 214. Thank you for being here.
What time did we come back? That was a very good question.
Yeah, Leah, it's possible.
I was going to say it was like somewhere between 8 and 9 o'clock p.m.
Did you guys go back out after that?
Stefan went back out.
And this was last night, right?
Yes.
Okay. Where was after this?
Good morning, Nicole.
With me.
Okay. Did you leave the house at any point?
Oh, I'm glad you
after
us.
This?
I'm glad you're here. So, yeah, the trial, again, is for the CSA images. I'm going to try to see if I can get it to come up, but I don't know if they're going to televise it or not. So I'm going to check it when we get done looking at the video with the photos, and then see if I can pull anything up. I don't know if I'll be able to or not. If I can't, we'll talk about Quentin Simon or the sheriff that shot the judge or something.
I don't believe so, no.
Okay.
Hold on. Yeah, I think it's been home all day
Oh,
today.
well, no, I'm glad
It's
I
been
had
home
the
all day
information to
today?
put
I'm
out.
pretty sure, yeah.
What time did the police take her phone?
Oh, just kidding. Yeah, they took it. I don't have it anymore. What time did he take the phone?
That's a good point, Ollie.
I've made so many phone calls today
Some
and
people
seen so
don't
many
know,
people
but
today that
Was it?
dang, that was the leash in the front seat. Some people don't know, but it's just weird to me that you wouldn't. Okay, so there's the leash. You can see the bottom part in the front seat. It should show us the other part in just a minute, but that's weird to me. But at the same time, with the way it's hanging, I don't know how he would have used it to hold Maddie up, you know?
I've made so many phone calls today.
Like, unless he wrapped it around her neck and then clipped it at this little O-ring right here. But it does seem more like it would be for a dog, but I don't know. I mean, anything's possible in this case. This case is crazy.
And seen so many people today that
Was it
don't
light out or dark out?
It was light out.
It was still
Detective
light.
Hunt still yeah, it was during the
Okay.
daytime.
And then but other than that, her phone was here all day.
In the morning, yes.
Yeah,
Did you guys take the phone anywhere other than when Detective Hunt took the phone?
I think so.
I
It's
think
weird how she says, just kidding.
I don't think I left the house with it.
Could be nothing, but
Okay.
it's just
Did
weird to
Stefan
me.
have access to the phone?
I'm sorry, I took my medicine, so I feel a little species.
That's possible, Sarah. Very possible.
I think I've had it with me. I think it's been with me.
Okay. Did
Right.
you look through
That's
her
where
phone
I'm at,
today?
one law.
Yes.
Okay. Where was that at?
I'm with you on that.
Here.
And what were you looking for at that time?
To see if there was anything else. What we couldn't access on Monday night was Roblox. So my niece came over and logged into her Roblox and checked out messages.
But remember the best friend saying that there was photos of Stefan in a group chat between her and Maddie and Stefan from where they were FaceTiming all the time. And she tried to look for him after Stefan got arrested, and they were all of a sudden gone. So was Jennifer accessing Maddie's phone and deleting pictures of Stefan? Possibly. Like, it's possible. Because how did the photos disappear after Stefan got arrested? Unless you were accessing Maddie's accounts, like she's asking about right here.
But then they were also, my sister was also looking for her phone to see if there was anything.
Here at the house?
Yes.
And that was today?
Yes.
Possible, Sarah.
Okay. Do you guys
Yep.
have her
Good morning,
account information
Sophia.
as far as like her iCloud and all that stuff? Or is it just on her phone?
I've had a hard time logging into it before when I was trying to get her a new phone.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure if I can log in to her iCloud. But I think it's all on her phone.
Okay. The reason I'm asking is because so like they took the phone and they downloaded it, right?
Look at
they can
What
see
is
like
this
if somebody
shit?
tries to access her accounts and stuff
What are you
like that.
running
So if you
into,
guys
ma'am?
do have access to
Oh.
anything,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, if you guys can refrain from like logging back in.
Okay, that's
Okay.
fine. Yeah.
So it doesn't look like she like if she tries to like access her accounts from like somewhere else, that way we can track that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Of course, yeah.
So they're asking if you can, just try not logging into any more of her accounts so that when he's going through the phone, it doesn't look like she's trying to log on from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it might not be this
Was there
far. I
anything
thought it
else that they
was.
wanted us to clarify?
Did you find
Thank you,
the
Sarah.
address to your
Okay, so nothing nefarious.
Sorry,
with
let me
that.
call her again.
Or what's the name of it?
Yeah, that's
if I could
possible, I
remember her
think.
business name, I don't know.
What kind of business?
It's an insurance business. I think Advanced Insurance something group.
And then I know that you've been with us for the most part of the day, right?
Yes.
What is the character
we have-
study? And I'll try to do it. I need to do a members
I want
only
to say
live.
maybe like 40 people out here, okay? Between us and Kissimmee. And we're
I have to
all,
look up what a
going to be
character
working
study is. Like
basically
study the people
overnight
individually.
and throughout the day tomorrow until we. Okay. Tonight, what we're gonna do is, I know we already secured your house, right? We asked everybody to leave. So another thing that I'm gonna ask is if you guys can find somewhere else to stay for the night, because we're gonna have Kissimmee out here at your apartment for the rest of the night, because the people that come and like take pictures and all that other stuff are not going to respond until the morning. Okay, so nobody can go into the house for the rest of the night.
Oh, you're
until
good,
the
Sarah.
house
I don't
gets,
know. I'm
we
sorry
need to
if
take pictures and do other stuff with the
delayed.
house. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
And unfortunately, because you guys have such a big apartment, it's not
Okay,
something
that
that
sounds
only
good.
one person does. Like, we don't do that, right? We have our
do
forensics
that.
unit come out. And it's not something that one person can do by herself. So she has to
We'll do
wait
that. I'll do
until
some
people
research
come in.
and see what
Because
we
there's
can
like,
do.
they're on call after midnight, right? So she has to wait for the other people to come in the morning. And then they're all going to come in as a unit and try to get it done as quick as possible.
Okay. I need to go back into the house.
Mhm.
I have medication that I have to
They
take
do,
in order to
Sophia.
be like normal.
Mhm.
Is there a possibility that I can go back in there and get my meds?
Yes. Give me a few minutes, and then we'll try to figure out
Good point,
how
Sarah
we can
Lee.
get your
Good
medication.
point.
Okay, but that's something that we can definitely get. Okay. Does it make sense what I'm telling you?
Yes. Yes. I just don't know what we're gonna do about finding a place to go. But okay,
And then, because lost in Stefan's car, we're also going to tow his car.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Okay.
Do you have any questions about anything that I'm telling you? Okay, so from now on, it'll probably be me getting in touch with you, okay? Not Detective Hunt. Okay?
Okay.
Do you understand everything that we discussed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I get your direct number?
Yes.
Job address, if I remember it correctly, is 13550 Village Park Lane, Suite 125.
That's a good point, Nicole.
In Orlando,
That's a great
Florida.
point. Very possible.
In Hunters Creek.
Hunters Creek, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Village Park Drive.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's another good
And
point, Jenny.
13550.
Yes.
Is that like an apartment complex?
It's a business building. I don't know. It's a building with a lot of business and offices inside.
And when did you say you were there?
I got there around 4. Well, see, I left and came back. So 4:45.
There was dog food or cat food in the car, which was, I mean, I guess if you're going on a long trip or something, that would be normal, but it was just a little weird to me to see that.
I got there and I think
Right,
I
Jen.
stayed until
And
they
Ollie.
had left.
Were you there today? Is there
What
maybe
is
anywhere
that?
near
Like,
that
I'm
area
wondering if
today?
it's like, if that's one of them large suckers you get at like the dollar store or something. I couldn't figure out what it was. Yeah, they breed.
No, I don't think so. It's been
It was the puppy vet or poodle ambulance is what they called it. She smoked indica. I was wondering, like, I know there's indica and sativa, but one of them gives you energy and one of them is like relaxes you. So I was wondering, I need to look into which one indica is. But that's her stuff there.
Oh, Detective Hunt went back to that office. I'm so sorry, and he had her phone.
Okay, he had her phone at that time.
Yeah.
Why did he go back to that office?
Because my uncle had walked the path.
Thank you, Cozy.
Along the trail, and he had found a wallet with.
I don't think she needed to be any more relaxed.
Something that had somebody's state on it. So he went to pick it up to see if it was of any interest.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you my business card. I'm still here for a little bit longer. I'm gonna talk to Stefan one more time. There was like a few things that we needed to clarify with him, and then we're gonna, like, me physically, after I get done talking to Stefan, I'm gonna try to go get rest, right? Because we're gonna continue to do all this.
Yeah.
There's other detectives that are coming from my unit. Okay. So like there's always gonna be somebody here.
Okay.
So just because I physically am not here, don't think that we're not physically working on this. We have a lot of people in our unit, right? So we're taking like shifts. And then the people we have violent crimes out here as well. And they're here till 4 a.m. So I don't want you to think that like, just because I'm leaving that we're not still actively working.
Look at look at that. Like, are we just like, is Jennifer driving so crazy that all messed up that she's hitting things left and right? Or did Stefan do this when he was doing something in her car? Like, good Lord, somebody like hit the crap out of something. I'm looking for the trial right now, guys, so I don't want you to think I'm ignoring you or anything.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like they are here till 4 a.m. and then the day shift people that also work violent crimes come in around that same time. So they're going to take over. So like we have like people working till a certain time and then other people coming and taking over. Okay. So like I said, just because I physically am not here doesn't mean that we're not still working on something. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, I don't remember if Detective Tagler asked, but yesterday when you guys were out looking, do you remember what time you were out looking till?
So yesterday, I stayed in the office. My family went out searching.
Which office?
1355. Yeah.
You stayed until what time?
I'm gonna say somewhere between 8 and 9 o'clock. I left and then I came home.
You came straight here.
Yeah.
And then who was out? Your family was out looking?
Yeah, but I think they all stopped when. Actually, I'm not sure. One of my uncles might have kept searching.
I found something, but I don't know if it's clickbait or not. We'll see in a minute. I'm gonna pull it up when we get done here. Good morning, Darla. Good morning.
Along the trail, but I'm not sure until what time he was out. My dad as well.
Okay. I see what you guys are saying. Okay, so it's fingerprint dust. Thank you for that, because I was like, dang, she's driving around all messed up. Thank you for that, guys.
Stefan went out sometime in the middle of the night and went searching, cruising around to see if he could figure out where she might be.
What car was he driving?
My car.
Was anybody driving Stefan's car?
No, just Stefan.
And what time was he out?
I have no idea. I fell asleep, but I know he drove my car because when I got into it, I said, "Oh, the seats adjusted. Did you drive my car?" He goes, "Yeah. Remember, I said I was going to take a drive tonight to go search for her because he does have like insomnia. He can't sleep at night sometimes." And
so luminol would only show up under a black light. It wouldn't look like that. I think you actually can't even see that they've sprayed it unless you have a black light on, but I'm not sure.
Especially like that's what's going on right now. but I'm not sure what time he may have come in or out. But if you guys look at my gate clicker, you need that to come in the front gate. You can see what time he may have come in and out.
Okay. I don't think I have anything else for you. We're gonna clear some things with Stefan, and then I will let you know before I head out.
Okay.
Okay. Do you promise that everything you said today is true?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much.
I
I'm
did
recording at 009.
I did play a little bit of music at the end of this because it was literally like 40 seconds. I'm gonna mute it because, like, it's like I don't know what kind of music I would play with photos of this. You know what I mean? So that's why I try to put an interview in the back. I'm looking at this one that says that it is the Stephen Stearns thing, but I'm really not sure. Like, I'm looking at it on my phone and I don't even hear anything. But I'm gonna pull it up on here so we can see. As soon as this is over, and then if it's nothing, I'll go to Court TV doing the Quentin Simon case. If y'all want to hear that, or if you'd rather look into the judge and the lawyer, let me know. Let me know what y'all want to look into. I don't know what that is unless it's like the disability placard. Right. I did put a little bit at the end, but I was like, I don't even know what to play. Like, that's just not a good idea. So that's why I did the interviews in the back. All right, I'm going to try this, but it might be clickbait. There it is. Like, they've got something, but I don't hear anything. So let's see. And it was from yesterday. Like, yesterday was Sunday. Hold on, I'm trying to find it. Oh my gosh, stop it. Hold on just a minute. Okay. So we're going to see if there's anything to this. I didn't hear anything. After this commercial, we will. Yeah, Sarah. I don't know what they were doing on the hood of the car, Eek. It's weird. Looking for whatever evidence they could find is my suspicion. See, there's nothing. I think this is clickbait, which is messed up. There's nothing happening. I don't know why people got to do that. You know what I mean? This is the only one I found. So I'm going to keep looking. We can jump into the Quentin Simon trial and see what they're doing real quick. If y'all'd rather look into the if y'all want to look at the sheriff and the judge, let me know. We'll see what's going on here real quick.
You should not infer or assume anything from either lawyer's objections or the court's rulings. During this trial,
so this is the Quentin Simon and Leilani trial. I can play it from here or I can restart it, and let me know if y'all need a recap real quick.
Court will have to consider some procedures outside your presence. When that occurs, I shall excuse you to the jury room.
I'm gonna actually play it, but I'm gonna take it back so we can see everything. So I was talking about the hearing on Stephen Stearns, about he has a hearing today regarding the
Counselor at their
images
tables. Ms. Simon is at the
that were on his phone. Here, let's do a quick recap of this, and then we'll come back to it. I think I have one saved. Sorry, I'm all over the place. I apologize. I have it saved on a playlist. I think it's a recap. Hold on just a minute. Okay, so we'll watch this recap real quick. This is going to be Vinnie Politan Investigates. Please make sure you give him a like and subscribe.
20-month-old Quentin Simon was living with his grandparents, his mother Leilani, and her boyfriend. On October 5th, 2022 at 9:40 a.m., there was a call to 911 to report this little boy missing. The investigation began as a missing persons case. Was this an abducted child? Did little Quentin sneak away into the nearby woods? Soon, the investigation would change. It became a homicide investigation, with Quentin's mom as the prime suspect. Then the true crime community spotlight started to shine on Leilani and her family. Protesters began to gather outside of their home, demanding answers and making accusations. The police.
It doesn't end good, Eek.
Police investigation continued and led to an expansive search of a landfill. Eventually, remains of Quentin were found. Leilani was arrested, locked up, and charged with his murder. And now a jury and the public will hear the evidence that hopefully answers all those questions about what happened to little Quentin Simon.
All the stories we do are difficult. When it's little children like that, it takes it to the next level. Did you see his little brown? I mean, you look at that child. Why would anyone do anything other than hug him? I don't understand that, but we've got to try to figure this all out.
Isn't he just so adorable?
Got to figure this all out. And investigations often start, and really do start most of the times, with the 911 call. That's the first time that law enforcement is then intervening in whatever is happening. And that's what happened here. There's a 911 call made, and it's Leilani Simon and her boyfriend, Daniel, who have the phone and are making the call in the morning. It's about 9:40. Take a listen.
911, what is your emergency? Yeah, I need to kidnapped.
Sorry for the loud beep, y'all. So they jumped automatically to, they think somebody kidnapped him. Like, you don't think maybe he ran off or something? The neighbor to this house said that he played in the ditch and things, and they would have to make sure to get him out of the ditch, the babysitter person, because they were scared they were going to get hit by cars and things. It was crazy. That was another dysfunctional household.
Yeah. You said someone been kidnapped? Yeah.
I have a trigger warning scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Jen says potential trigger warning. Thank you guys. And we know now that she was faking that. Listen to her. She's over the top. Sarah, Eek put a crying face because it's sad. Look at him, and he's just so precious. That's such a beautiful little boy.
Your own time? When was the last time you seen him? I saw him this morning when I left at 6. Okay, have you guys gone outside to check the area? Yeah. How old is he? And he can't open the door. So you think someone broke in and has there any time to break it in? No. No breaking in, the door was open. Was it unlocked? Yeah, but the front door had bolts though, but yeah, it was. Okay, give me a description on him. Give me a description.
She's being so dramatic. I mean, it sounds legitimate, but we know now that it wasn't. That's just chilling to me. I've never heard the 911 call. Suffer the Little Children podcast is good. I've listened to her a couple of times, but she gets some cases that are hard to hear too. I don't know if she's done if she's done him. This case was popular when it first happened, not necessarily popular, but everybody was talking about it, trying to figure out what happened to little Quentin. This is where Bullhorn Betty hit the scene and started with all of her shenanigans.
Like looking eyes, and dark hair. You what now? You got tan, dark brown hair. His eyes are like a brown green hazel. Okay. And he's black, white, and Hispanic. You know what? He's what now? Hawaiian. Yes.
It's you listen to the call and you're wondering. I mean, because it has happened. We've covered that story.
Sarah Lee, because I mean, it's all of those things. She sounds familiar, and hearing her name is like nails on a chalkboard. That lady is absolutely crazy. She was screaming with a bullhorn outside of Leilani's house, like obscene things. They were playing sounds of babies crying. Dolly got popular in that case too. Dolly Vision. The whole neighborhood had to hear them playing sounds of babies crying at like 2:00 in the morning. They're out there screaming and hollering. It was just a shit show, to say the least. I mean, I understand wanting the person who hurt this child to be in jail, but you got to give the police time to do their business. And if they're coming out there having to fuss at you for acting a straight damn fool, you're doing nothing but stopping the case from proceeding and making it take longer. That whole situation was crazy.
Someone breaks into a home in the middle of the night and takes a young child. It can happen. It has happened. But you look at a case like this and a story and an investigation, and a child goes missing from a house.
Yeah, she's allowed.
I mean, there's an obvious first question for all of this, and it's our first question of our investigation tonight, which is, who was at the house that day? Who was there? It's an important question. Who are the people that are in the house where Quentin was staying? Let me bring in my guests who are going to help us through all this. Joining me, forensic death investigator, professor of forensics at Jacksonville State University and host of the very popular Body Bags podcast, Joseph Scott Morgan, and podcast host and Pop Crime TV reporter, Lauren Conlon with us.
Now, I will tell you that Leilani wasn't even supposed to be in that house. Leilani had lost custody of Quentin, and she was living with her mother, which was Quentin's grandmother. Quentin's grandmother had custody of him, and I think there was another smaller child, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a long time since I looked into this case, but she wasn't even supposed to be in the house because she had lost custody. And not only was she in the house, but she was watching him when this happened. Oh, sorry. And this grandma, she's got one son that's in prison for murder, and then Leilani did this to her grandson. Like, I don't know if she's the best person in the world, but nobody deserves that. Goodness.
Thank you both for being here. Great to see you. I wanted to put up a quick little timeline here because this is a story where a little bit of information has come out. Not a ton, but some information has come out. This is significant. 5:29 a.m., Quentin's babysitter receives a text message saying no services would be needed for Quentin that day. That's 5:29 a.m. 6 a.m., baby Quentin is reportedly last seen in his playpen at the...
Anatolia, no, I don't know what's going on with the Maddie sub. I don't know if you're talking about the trial today. I don't know. I keep checking for updates and I can't find any. I might need to change my thumbnail because I don't want people to keep thinking that I have some kind of information and come here thinking that, because then I'll feel really bad about that. I keep looking to try to see if there's anything. Oh, the subreddit I don't know about Maddie's subreddit. I will look into it though, and see what I can find. What was I saying? Oh, I don't know if they're going to televise the hearing today because it's CSA images and they can't play those in court. I mean, I would think that they don't want the public to see that, but I am simultaneously checking on that while we look into the Quentin Simon case, because the trial for this is happening right now, but we're catching up on what happened, and then we're going to jump into that.
The home. 9:39, Leilani and her boyfriend Daniel call 911 to report Quentin missing. Then we get to 1 o'clock and the FBI immediately jumping in to help with this search down in Savannah, Georgia. So Lauren, as we look at who's at the house that night, so Leilani's obviously there. It seems her boyfriend Daniel is there. Who else is in this home?
Well, Vinnie, I first want to clarify that this home belongs to Leilani's mother, Billie Jo Howell, and her husband, Thomas Howell. And Leilani and Daniel and the 3 kids have a room downstairs while the upstairs is occupied by Billie Jo and Thomas, and also Leilani's older brother, Paul Simon. And yes, that's his real name, Paul Simon. But Billie Jo and Thomas were not there at the time. As far as we know, it was just Leilani, Thomas, and the 3 kids.
Joseph Scott Morgan, looking at that timeline, the first thing that jumps out to me, 5:29 canceling the babysitter. Mm-hmm. You don't need to come over. And this is someone from the neighborhood who has spoken about the case, but is, likely going to be an important witness in all this. And then at 6 o'clock, it seems that the boyfriend says, yeah, I saw Quentin at 6 a.m. when I was leaving for work.
So they set up this whole story, this whole elaborate plan to make it look like not what it was. Anatolia, I didn't know that. Thank you for sharing. Oh, hold on, guys. I'm sorry. Thought I played it.
I'm looking at those 2 things. Why don't you need the babysitter?
Have a great day.
Yeah, one of the things that we look for in investigations, then, is particularly when you're talking about, because initially this is a missing child case. All right, so you begin to think about that, and one of the questions you're going to ask: is there anything that indicates that behaviors have deviated from the norm? So when you would question a parent about something like this, something so horrible, one of the first questions out of the gate is, do you ever cancel the babysitter? And if so, how frequently have you done this? And is this the normal time of day that you would do this? Remember, this is done from texting. So if there's a history of this, you can go back and look at the text, if this is their normal piece, if this is the way they do it. And right you are, Vinnie.
I looked again for anything on Stephen Stearns, and I'm not seeing anything yet. But the Leilani trial is on and going, so we'll watch this and then get into that.
And when you talk about this point of contact, they're going to be essential in establishing the timeline and also prior behaviors.
Yeah, Lauren, this to me, the canceling of the babysitter at 5:29, to me is a little odd. It's a lot odd. Like if you don't need a babysitter, you should know the night before. Would you wake up at 5 o'clock and say, "Oh, we don't need a babysitter today"? That defies logic, I think, to anyone.
Yes, I agree with you. It's incredibly odd. As a mother, I'm not waking up at 5:30 a.m. and texting my babysitter. And I think that this babysitter really cared about Quentin. There are reports that this babysitter was actually the one that got Leilani to call 911 in the first place, or got Daniel to call. So it's interesting. I mean, this was just the start of Leilani's lies, but I know
the babysitter did really seem to care and was really hurt because she loved him like her son.
that you're going to get to that, so I won't give anything away. But yeah, it's the start.
Yeah, we've got a lot to get to. Well, let's listen to Billy Joe, who's Leilani Simon's mother, Quentin's grandma, and as Lauren said, the owner of the home.
Did she have her own rooms within that residence that were?
Yes, sir, she did.
Who did she reside here with?
Danny Youngkin, my husband Thomas Howell, and my son Paul Simon, and the three children.
3 minor children.
All right, Joseph, so we're laying out who's in the house. So you're investigating this, and everyone who has access to the house or lives in the house obviously needs to be interviewed, and their story has to be verified, because that's the first place you have to look when a child is missing.
Yeah, you're right. But, you know, one of the initial statements that came out relative to this person is that they stated that the child had been taken or snatched. You know, to think about that, just let that seep into the groundwater there and think about that a little bit. Why is it that your mind flies to that issue immediately?
Remember, I had just said that. Why did she automatically jump to he's been kidnapped? That's not normal.
And if that's the case, and if you can come up with that supposition, the question is,
okay, I'll check it.
Who in the hell is coming and going out of that house on a daily basis, on an hourly basis? And why is that house unsecured? Those are the big questions that you're going to be asking, because first off, who knows who the occupants are in that house? If they have an awareness that this little child, this precious little baby is in that house, who would have that information, that would know that that child is there, and that would be so motivated to snatch that child away from that family and run off with them? That's a big question here.
And the other thing, Lauren, that we heard in the 911 call was the door is open. But then the boyfriend says, yeah, but it's got bolts, but it's open. And very clear to say, well, Quentin can't open the door. But the door is open. You live in an area like this and there's woods in a neighborhood. It seems you should be spending some time outside searching for the child, like frantically searching for the child.
And again, why would you would not do that if you already know the outcome and where the child was, so you didn't have to search. I'm looking at my email now, Jen. Thank you.
I agree with you. And I thought that was a little odd that while Danny is making the phone call, she's just kind of in the background adding context, because that's also not something that you would normally do on a 911 call. Start saying, well, it could be this. Well, it could be that. You're going to want to say, what should I do? Should I go search? You know, what, like everybody, come quick.
All right, let's all tell Junie Jen, thank you. She's got us a update on the Stephen Stearns in court today. It's an article, it's not a video, but I'm going to go ahead and pull that up and read it. I'm going to play this while I get it pulled up. Make sure
my son is missing. You don't really get that. You hear more excuses.
Absolutely. All right, Lauren, Justice Scott Morgan staying with us. Coming up next, what will investigators be able to determine from Quentin's remains?
Additional testing, including a DNA analysis, is being conducted, and we have every reason to believe that this will confirm the remains are Quentin's.
How could live ammunition have made it onto that set?
Okay.
8/7 Central, only on Court TV.
This afternoon, Chatham County Police Department detectives arrested 22-year-old Leilani Simon and charged her with malice murder, concealing the death of another person, false reporting, and making false statements.
It's malice murder because supposedly he had been like hit in the head or something like that. I'm trying to get the document on this, but like it wasn't an accident. That's how she got malice murder. There was malice.
Connection with the disappearance and death of her son, 20-month-old Quentin Simon. Leilani Simon is being held at the Chatham County Detention Center and is awaiting a bond hearing. We do not anticipate any other arrests in this case. She has been the sole suspect from the beginning. On Friday, our search teams at the waste management landfill found what they believed were human remains. This afternoon, the FBI lab in Quantico, Virginia, confirmed that they are, in fact, human remains. Additional testing, including a DNA analysis, is being conducted, and we have every reason to believe that this will confirm the remains.
Yeah, Jenny, we tried to pull that up. We pulled that up a minute ago, and it was pure silent. It's just silent. I'm gonna try to look into that and see if they got it like maybe on X or something, and maybe YouTube said they couldn't play it here or something. But it was also posted yesterday. Like, that was weird. It's a Sunday, so I think it might be clickbait. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys this article from Stefan today, and we'll read this that Jenny just found for us. So we do get a picture here. Hold on, let me make sure my internet's okay. Okay, it came back. So let me close this out. So we have a picture of him, and this is a news article that Jenny just sent me. Okay, thank you. So it says Stephen Stearns makes first ever court appearance at Monday. New court date set in trial of man accused of sexually assaulting, killing Kissimmee teen Madeline Soto. And there he is in all of his disgusting glory. Stephen Stearns made first ever court appearance at Monday pretrial hearing. He is charged with sexually battering and murdering Kissimmee teen Madeline Soto in February. Kent Jackson took the picture. For the first time, Stephen Stearns, the man prosecutors have charged with sexually assaulting and murdering 13-year-old Kissimmee teen Madeline Soto, made an in-person court appearance Monday. I just want to let y'all know I can't see your comments while I'm reading this, so I'll try to check back and forth. Stearns, with a neatly trimmed beard and haircut, did not speak during his brief appearance at Monday's status hearing for his trials. He entered the courtroom shortly before the 10-minute hearing and was let out immediately after it concluded. Aside from the murder, the state has charged him with 60 counts of sexual battery, lewd and lascivious molestation, and possession of child sex abuse material. Charges filed by the state attorney's office after searching his phone and Google Drive after Soto was reported missing back in February on February 26th. I know I read that wrong. I'm sorry. Let me try again. Aside from the murder, the state has charged him with 60 counts of sexual battery, lewd and lascivious molestation, and possession of child sex abuse material. Charges filed by the state attorney's office after searching his phone and Google Drive after Soto was reported missing back on February 26th. I guess I read it right. The state attorney has filed to seek the death penalty against Stearns, who remains in the Osceola County Jail. It appears that those are wheels of justice moving slowly. Assistant State Attorney Danielle Pennell noted on no depositions have been done or been scheduled among the many witnesses in what are new separate cases. She said that the murder case has many more witnesses. Public defender Beth Burden, surrounded by a defense team of 3 other attorneys, told Judge Keith Casterns that she is currently on another death penalty case and has 2 others on her docket. She asked that the case be scheduled for 2027. My goodness. But Casterns said that would test the bounds of what is reasonable. Casterns then set new pretrial hearings for Stearns' cases, noting the case with 60 counts has fewer hurdles standing in the way. He tentatively scheduled that case for a pretrial hearing on Wednesday, February 12th, 2025, and for a trial docket of February 24th to March 14th. He set the pretrial hearing with discovery and deposition update deadlines of September 10th, 2025, and a trial period to start September 22nd. So we got about a year. And I think that's it. So I'll keep checking to see if any of the news channels got it actually like recorded, and we'll see what they have to say. But I really want to again thank you, Jenny, for sending me that. I really appreciate that. So that's what happened today with him in court. Thank you. I mean, I was just like redoing my thumbnail and everything to like take that out. So I'm glad that you got with me and found that. Thank you so much, Jenny. You're such a wonderful mod. Thank you, Jenny. So we'll get back to the Quentin Simon case now.
He was thrown out like garbage. This little boy that you're looking at.
Look at him. Ain't he just precious? This is a sad case too.
Was killed and thrown out like garbage. They had to go to a landfill to recover his remains. Unreal. Which brings me to my next question, which is about what happened to the little guy. What will investigators be able to determine from Quentin's remains? It's so sad. It is so sad. But the investigation must continue. You got to figure this stuff out. Still with us, Joseph Scott Morgan and Lauren Conlon. Lauren, the one thing about this search that I think people have to realize, and this was like a massive search that was done, an incredible effort by everyone involved.
Yes, Vinny, it was a huge search. Tons of money was put into this, over $250,000 by the county. The FBI was involved. You know, they had local police, a canine team, helicopters. Everybody in the area was searching for Quentin Simon.
Joseph Scott Morgan, I want to read something from the state's filing just to give a little perspective on what happened to Quentin, and then you can help us answer the question about what investigators are going to be able to figure out from this part of the evidence. But hours after the defendant had discarded Quentin's body in the dumpster, the hydraulic forks of a front-loading garbage truck lifted up the dumpster and dumped its contents, including Quentin, into the large box that constitutes the back of the truck. Then a powerful compactor built into the truck compacted the contents of the box. Eventually, the truck gorged its load at the trash basin of a local landfill. A bulldozer then shoved the heaped garbage 300 feet from the trash basin to a cell. Once at the cell, the garbage and Quentin were compacted by a roughly 50-ton machine that looks something like a steamroller, but with rollers that are studded rather than smooth. Then there was the search. The process consisted of
Y'all, I'm going to give you a big trigger warning on this. This is hard to hear.
Excavator scooping garbage out of the cell and loading it into dump trucks. The dump trucks unloading the garbage at an open area known as a search deck. The garbage then being spread out into an even layer on the search deck. Law enforcement combing through the garbage, then clearing it to make room for the next load. This is repeated day after day, load after load, ton after ton. Quentin's body, is what they're saying here, went through a lot. But they did it, Joseph Scott Morgan. They found whatever was left of these remains. What are they?
I think it took them like a month at least, if not longer. It took them a long time to find this baby.
Going to be able to determine from these remains?
Well, I got to tell you, Ben, tip of the cap, first off, to law enforcement and these people that were boots on the ground. You realize how unsuccessful most of these searches generally are. I know you realize that. We've covered it for years. And I've been a part of searches like this. And it is an absolute nightmare to work in this environment. And, you know, they talked about the truck or the piece of equipment that compounds everything that's contained in there. These landfills are split up into, they call it cells. You can call it grids as well, because you can't dump in the same area all the time. You have to keep it evenly spaced. And the upside is, you know, where that particular dumpster originated from that day. So it would be isolated in that specific.
And even knowing all of that, like where it's should be specifically, it still took them like a really long time. And I think it was hot, if I'm not mistaken. And it was just horrible for these officers and volunteers to go through searching all this stuff. It was insane.
Specific topographic area for that site. One of the things you have working against you is nature. Remember, a landfill is there to break down all organic material. And I'm not being disrespectful here, but the human body is chief among these. And so decomposition is promoted. One interesting piece to this, Vin, is that they talk specifically about finding skeletal remains, which means that within weeks, his little precious body would have broken down very quickly, probably a lot quicker than, say, for instance, if this was a body that was placed out in the woods somewhere. You get it into this environment and it's greatly compromised. So if you're looking for, say, injuries to the tissue, like a bruise or even a gunshot wound or a knife wound, you're not going to find it most of the time.
So I'm about to get graphic. Again, trigger warning. But you got to think about, he's in there with all that trash, and like, think about what you throw away, cleaning chemicals, animal urine, things like that. All of those things are in there with him and going to start making decomposition happen a lot faster. All the, as nasty as it sounds, all the juices from the trash and all of that are going to be on that poor little baby and make him start decomposing faster. And they're saying it's harder to determine the cause of death when things like that happen. It's very unfortunate.
The time, because all of the soft tissue will be gone. So then you're reliant upon the skeletal remains, which they removed to Quantico. And that's kind of an interesting bit there. For me, it was, at least. They first went to Quantico, and then they came back to the state of Georgia to the state medical examiner's office.
Yep.
They quickly, early on, determined that these were a child's skeletal remains, which are completely different than an adult. They're not matured. And so they're very easily compromised. The bones are very soft. So that's why this is, I'm not trying to be grotesque. I'm just saying this is a miracle that they even found him. And so that's why this is such an achievement on the part of law enforcement, and they couldn't deserve more credit.
And as you get those remains and you examine them, what are you looking for? What can you get from the skeletal remains of this small young child?
Yeah, one of the key things is they're being very cagey about this. Did you notice in the report, it was very nonspecific relative to, well, the weapon or the instrument that was used. They talked about, and I'm going to get the phrase, maybe you can correct me here, but it was an instrument that was used, and it was nonspecific. Well, an instrument, or an object rather, can be any number of things. It can be a hammer.
So, yeah, again, talking about malice murder, she's charged with malice murder because even with the skeletal remains, they could tell that this child was hit with something. And thank God they were able to find that out so that they were able to charge her with malice murder, because you don't know, like, if you just find, unfortunately, skeletal remains, if there's no markings or anything, how do you determine if it was an accident? Like, could she say an accident happened and she freaked out and got rid of the body? Luckily, they were able to determine that it wasn't an accident, and that some type of object was used, and therefore charge her with malice murder.
Hammer, a baseball bat, it can be a knife. You know, those are all objects or instruments. Generally when you hear object, though, that implies blunt force trauma. So I have to ask myself this: if you're making that determination, and again, we don't have this in its final context, do you have some bit of the skull that remained where you could appreciate maybe some kind of fracture or something that had occurred? Because if you're talking about a knife wound, much more difficult to assess that on skeletal remains.
Joseph Scott Morgan, thank you so much. Really appreciate your insight, and you do it so well and so delicately. Lauren Conlon, thank you as well. I'm Vinnie Politan. We'll keep digging for answers. The
You heard Mark Robinson saying that he'd ban abortions as governor, but he's not the only one.
Lord have mercy. Thank you. I was muted and then I stopped being muted and then it muted again. My computer is having a time today. So what I was saying was he continues on, but I think we have the gist of it. I have to go and walk my neighbor's dog at 12. So we're going to jump into the trial because I think we kind of understand what was going on. And we'll watch a little bit of this before I have to go because it sounds like they're really talking about some stuff. That's important, and then you guys can finish watching it throughout the day. And I'm going to try to find something where the trial is live from Stephan and put out a video on that. If nothing else, I'll read the article. But you guys will have already heard it because you were here for the live. I'm going to put that out on a video for people who weren't here for the live. So sorry about being muted. My computer was going crazy. So we'll watch this real quick and see what's happening. And then at 12, I have to go. It's 11:19 here. So I have to leave in like 40 minutes. This is Court TV doing the Leilani Simon trial, day 1. Here we go. We'll start it here. Anders, yeah, I went over. Let me make this. Jenny Jen found an article about what happened with the hearing today with Stephan Stearns about the CSA images, and it told us basically what happened, that he did show up to court, and it gave us trial dates. All the trial dates are about a year out. So we got to wait about a year for Stephan to be on trial for the murder charges. This is Leilani now.
All right, thank you. As you come to your seats, please feel free to have a seat.
The good thing is, like Grizzly Crime does,
and let the record reflect that all the jurors have been seated.
If
We'll
you
now move
are behind,
into
like if you watch
the
this
preliminary
with me and then
instructions. Before I do that,
if you watch this with me and then they break for lunch, you'll still have part of the trial to catch up on. So we'll watch as much as we can until I have to go. Yeah, he showed up and they got a picture of him in the article.
there was a juror who didn't make it out for the first swearing, and I just wanted to ask you the question that I've asked everyone else. Have you done any research? Have you talked to anyone about the case? Have you watched any news media? Okay, so you've been able to follow the court's instructions to not discuss this case with anyone, nor do research. All right, thank you very much. All right. And your number? 7. Okay, and that is juror number 7. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, moving on, I'm going to get back to the pens and notepads that you have for your use during the trial. You may make notes, but you're not required to do so. If you decide to take notes, please remember that note-taking should not divert you from paying full attention to the evidence and to evaluating.
Some courts won't let you take notes, and I always wondered why. Like, if I was a juror, I'd be taking notes like crazy. Some courtrooms won't let you do it, which is weird to me.
Witness credibility. Your observations of the witness during their testimony can be vital to your determination to the believability of their testimony. The notes that you take are for your use only and are not to be shared with anyone until you begin deliberation with your fellow jurors. During deliberation, you should rely on your own recollection of the proceedings, but you may consult the notes of other jurors if you wish.
This was her biological child, her baby.
Do not be influenced by the notes of others, unless their notes help you in determining your own independent recollection. Notes are not entitled to any greater weight than the recollection or impression of each juror as to what evidence that may have been presented. After the trial is over, the notes will be destroyed and they will be collected and destroyed. And at this time, please write your name on the front sheet of paper in the pad and make no further notes on the front sheet. That way, no other person can see your notes if your pad should be seen by another person. The law requires that you decide this case solely on evidence presented in this courtroom. This means that during the trial, you must not conduct any independent research about this case, the matters in the case, or any individuals involved in the case.
I wonder how hard it was to find an unbiased jury that knew absolutely nothing about this case, because it was pretty widely known, just like the Madeline Soto case.
In other words, you should not consult dictionaries or reference materials, search the internet, websites or blogs, or use any other electronic tools to obtain information about this case or to help you decide the case. Please do not try to find out information from any source outside of the confines of the courtroom, to include media of any sort or online research. The bailiffs have been instructed to collect your cell phones, tablets, and laptops during the proceedings.
She looks irritated that the camera's solely focused on her, but ma'am, you deserve it, in my opinion.
You may want to leave those in your vehicle. If they collect them, they'll be sure to give them back to you.
Well, be irritated then.
At the end of the day and on breaks as well.
Tammy Wren, good morning and welcome. Good
Until
morning.
you
Good to see
retire to deliberate.
No,
you
I
may
don't
not
think so. I'm going to check later when we get done with this and see if there was courtroom cameras in there. There is a picture of him. If you go back a little bit, my wonderful mod Jenny pulled up the article and I read it, and I'm going to put out a video later, at least reading the article again for people who watch the videos and not the lives. I'm going to, during that time period, see if anything's released on him in the courtroom and what exactly was said at the hearing, but I haven't found anything yet. I think Jen said she's going to look too. So that's all I know about it. But we did read the article. It told us that he showed up, and it told us that the Red Room trial is going to be set for basically September of 2025. But they're going to start pre-trial stuff in February. Good morning, Norma. Good morning. Good morning, all you lovely people.
Even your fellow jurors. After you retire to deliberate, you may begin discussing the case with your fellow jurors, but you cannot discuss the case with anyone else until you have returned a verdict and the case is at an end. I hope that for all of you, this case is interesting and noteworthy. I know that many of you use tools or technology in your daily life, but you may not do so in connection with your service as a juror. You also must not talk to anyone about this case or use electronic tools to communicate with anyone about the case. This includes your family members and friends. You may not communicate with anyone about the case or your jury service via internet, text messaging, email, Twitter.
I think they put them up in a hotel room too, while the jurors, while the case is going on, to make sure that they don't have any kind of outside media influence. This is from Court TV, by the way. They're live right now with this on, just so you guys know.
Instagram, Snapchat, and on and on and on. You cannot use any social networking websites to communicate anything about this case. I cannot stress strongly enough that communication via electronic devices is prohibited. So at this time, you may sit in any of the seats in the jury box during the trial. During the voir dire process, we ask that you sit in specific seats for identification purposes. However, there is no need to do so during the trial itself. If you need anything while in the jury room, you may knock at the door to notify the bailiff that you wish to communicate with the court. I would then give you instructions on how this should be done, depending on the stage of the trial and the nature of the request.
What kind of look is that?
So I'm going to give you an overview of.
That was a look of like turning my nose up, utter disgust. What was that?
The criminal law and trial procedure that will apply in this case, to give you a framework. A crime is a violation of a statute of this state. in which there shall be a union or joint operation of act and intention. That is, a crime is committed when a person violates a statute of this state by acting as prohibited, while at the same time he has a criminal intention and no other defense excuses the conduct. A person will not be presumed to act with criminal intention. However, the jury may find such intention upon the consideration of words, conduct, demeanor, motive, and all other circumstances connected with the act for which the accused is prosecuted. The state cannot bring a person accused of a felony to trial unless the grand jury has first indicted that person.
Yeah, she
Grand
is
jury
annoying. I'm gonna
jurors do
skip
not
forward a
try
little
criminal
bit because this
cases.
is just
They ordinarily only hear from witnesses for the state. When a criminal case is tried, the defendant has pled
okay.
not
We're
guilty
gonna jump
to the
forward
indictment.
until the
This
opening
plea of
statement
not guilty
because this is
denies
just for
every
the
essential allegation of the indictment. And will
okay. So we jumped forward because that was just instructions for the jury, so we don't really need that. He did look constipated, didn't he, Anders?
likely avoid
So we're about to
speaking
get
with you
into
to
the opening
ensure that
statement.
there is no
This will be
appearance of
more
impropriety.
interesting.
So please do not take offense to their failure to speak with you as we go forward for the trial in the coming days. This procedure will protect you not only from wrongdoing, but from the appearance of wrongdoing. And these restrictions also apply to the friends and family members of interested parties. During these trials, the court will not require that you be kept together except during breaks and during the meals. There have been special arrangements made for that. So keep saying it. It's here for a reason. So I've said it several times now. It is important that you consider only the evidence that you hear and see within the courtroom. That concludes my preliminary instructions.
Thank goodness.
So at this time, I will turn first to the state. Is the state ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
And the defense is ready to proceed.
The defense is ready, Your Honor.
We'll begin now with opening statements.
Okay, I had to step away for a minute. So this is going to be the state's opening statement. The state of Georgia. She's doodling. Oh, she wrote it out. My bad. He's getting his projector set up and pulled up so we can see pictures. My door opened. Hold on, y'all.
This is Quentin Simon, at about a year and a half old, a little bit over that, 20 months. Like all children, he was blameless, he was innocent, and he was beautiful. And like all children,
He said, like all children, he was blameless, he was innocent, and he was beautiful. Yes, Anders is in Savannah.
totally defenseless.
Totally defenseless.
Totally and completely dependent on the adults in his life to take care of him and to look out for his safety. And the evidence in this case will show that the defendant violated that trust, that most basic, sacred trust of a parent, in the most horrible way. In the middle of the night, she killed him, her own son, got in her car with his body, drove to a dumpster, and threw him away like a piece of trash. She would go home, go to sleep like everything was normal, and wake up the next morning and report it to the police as an abduction. I woke up, my front door was open, and my child was missing.
So she did it the night before. I didn't know that. That's crazy. She did it the night before and went the night before to do all the things to cover it up and then reported him missing that morning.
Now, the story started to fall apart pretty quickly because of good, solid police work. But she would go on to tell a series of evolving lies over several weeks, only moving from one lie to the next as the police picked apart the first lie and presented her with the evidence that made the first lie untenable. So now it's time to move on to lie number 2, 3, and 4. And as they're doing this with her,
and she lied her ass off,
they're also searching for his body, which they ultimately discovered about 6 weeks after his disappearance in a local landfill, in pieces, unfortunately. And as a result of all of that police work and investigative efforts, which I think you'll be quite proud of when you hear about them in detail, the defendant is charged with his murder. So that's sort of the 50,000-foot view, the bluff, the bottom line up front for the military folks here. A little more detail on what happened, what the evidence will show. The 2 days that we're primarily concerned with here are October 4th and 5th of 2022, specifically the night of October 4th, moving into the morning of October 5th. Now, at that time, and I'll try to go slow for those of you who are taking notes. At that time, the defendant is living here on the west side of Savannah, jurisdiction of the Chatham County Police Department, in this house that's roughly in the center, with an in-ground swimming pool in the back. It's on Buckhalter Road, 535 Buckhalter Road. She had most recently lived in North Carolina, where she had met and lived with her most recent boyfriend, Daniel Youngkin, who you'll hear about. And some months before October of 2022.
North Carolina does not claim this one. Just putting that out there.
They had moved down and were living in this house at 535 Buckhalter. Now, the house belonged to the defendant's mother, Billy Joe Howell, who you see here, and her husband, Thomas Howell, who is not the defendant's father, but is her stepfather. Also living in the house at that time is the defendant's brother, Paul Simon. They have the same mother and the same father. And Daniel Youngkin, her boyfriend from North Carolina.
North Carolina don't claim him either. They don't look anything alike to me. Maybe in the eyes, but they look completely different to me, her and her brother.
And the defendant's 3 children.
Boy, he looks like a winner, don't he?
October of 2022, she has 3 children by 3 different men. The oldest is Zane Wharton. I think you'll hear was roughly about 3 years old at the time. Zane has been through a lot with her. He's her firstborn son, and I expect you'll hear testimony that she considered him her ride or die. That's her guy. Sky Youngkin is an infant on the far right there. That is her youngest child by Daniel Youngkin. And in the middle was Quentin. Quentin was her child by a man named Henry Bubba Moss Jr. You'll hear that she'd had kind of a tumultuous relationship with Mr. Moss, that they had split before she even knew she was.
She had tried to say that his daddy, Bubba Moss, had taken him and he was staying with him and all kinds of stuff. That man, Bubba Moss, was devastated to learn that his child was dead.
He was pregnant with Quentin, and that he initially didn't even believe that she was pregnant when she told him, and that he was never a part of Quentin's life at all. And I expect you'll hear some testimony about the way that background influenced the way that she treated Quentin. But you're supposed to love all your kids equally. You're supposed to treat them all the same. I expect you'll hear some testimony that didn't happen. That she treated Quentin differently, and not in a good way.
That's horrible.
Here's the house from the street. The master bedroom where defendant's mother, Billy Joe Howell, and her stepfather, Thomas Howell, lived is over here in the two-story portion of the house, but on the first floor. Brother Paul Simon's bedroom is upstairs, and you'll hear in one of the defendant's interviews, she'll say, when you're up in that room, you can't really hear anything that's going on downstairs. It's kind of its own layer up there. Now, the defendant, Daniel, and the three children lived in a bedroom right through this front door.
I could believe that you couldn't hear anything from upstairs, especially all the way on this end of the house. Yeah, it would be hard.
I think there was some sort of addition or something on the house at one point. This bedroom that they live in appears to be like a converted one-time living room or something like that. If you step through that front door, this is what you see. You see a couch in the foreground. You see a desk behind that. And then on the far wall there, you see a bed. That's the defendant and Daniel Youngkin's bed. If you pan to the right, you'll see a closet door here. And then it's hard to make.
So their bed was right over here, and there's no curtain, no nothing to give them privacy, basically. And I'm going to leave that at that. You make your own conclusions. I've already made mine. And here's one of the toddlers' beds. I'm assuming that's Quentin's.
Take out in this picture, but beyond this closet door is a door into a bathroom that then feeds into the dining room. And that is the only way to get from this room to the main body of the house. You see a race car bed there? That's where Zane slept. We further pan to the right.
Okay, that's Zane's bed.
You can see that race car bed completely, and you see a projector on the wall, evidently for watching movies or something while you're sitting on the couch.
Yeah.
And then if you pan into that right-hand corner, you see this pack and play.
So that must have been that baby's bed.
Go in that front door.
Eek,
And that's
I agree.
where Quentin slept. That was Quentin's bed. Now, that sort of sets the scene as to who's living in this house and where they're sleeping. Before we come back to the morning of October 4th, I want to talk to you about what the evidence is going to show as far as what's the biggest thing going on in the defendant's life. And the biggest thing going on in her life in the months, days leading up
I think there was some rumors of substance use.
to October 4th is the status of her relationship with Daniel Youngkin. things are not good. She is feeling unloved, undesired.
Yeah, that too, but like I have a soft spot for substance use, even though these mothers do these things. When you're on substances, you do not make any rational decisions. I I give a lot of grace to people who are on substances when they do horrible things. Um, but I don't think that anything can make you resort to that. You know, I've got a history um with substances, and I never felt like that. Like I never would have ever hurt anybody. So I guess it's just different for different people, but you don't make rational decisions at all. But there's still got to be some kind of primal instinct in you that makes you do something like that, because I'm sure, you know, more people than you would ever think have had issues with some kind of substance, even, you know, alcohol, cigarettes, anything, you know, and it doesn't make everybody in the whole world do that. So there's some other part of you that pushed you to the edge. It wasn't just because maybe you were on an illegal substance and you were like fiending or coming down or something. You still aren't going to resort to the level of hurting your child or somebody else around you. Like, I try to give grace for that, but at the same time, I don't understand a substance, like blaming it fully on a substance doesn't make sense to me. And a lot of these trials that happens. Yeah, I believe it's a mental disorder.
Ignored.
I'm sorry to hear that, Eek.
And I'll show you a couple of text messages taken from her phone by the investigators that show this. Now, this is kind of small on here, and it's kind of bright, so I'll read it for you for those of you who can't see. Some of you may be able to read it, perhaps not all of you can. This is July of 2022. I want to feel beautiful, not barely average. I want to feel loved and not just liked. I want to feel wanted, not just tolerated. I want to be able to look at you and know it's just me, not wonder how many others there are. I want to feel like my body is worth showing off, not like it's just been trashed from having 3 kids. I want to feel the way you made me feel in the beginning.
Okay, I'm going to read this in a female's voice because this man's voice is just not doing it for me. So she sent it to somebody. So she's marked with a $, exclamation point, gator mouth to the word other, and then exclamation point, $. She sent it to King with a heart. And said, I want to feel not barely average. I want to feel loved, not just liked. I want to feel wanted, not just tolerated. I want to be able to look at you and know it's just me, not wonder how many others there are. I want to feel like my body is worth showing off, not like it's just been trashed from having 3 kids. I want to feel the way you made me feel in the beginning, like I'm treasured and safe, not like I'm just here because you really don't have a choice. Well, ma'am, you need to look inward to find those things, and at your children at that point. If you're not fit, you need to get rid of him. And like I've said before in other lives, yeah, it'll hurt for a little while, but you'd be way better off without him. And then you can work on loving yourself and making yourself feel beautiful and loving your kids and putting them first in your life. And then you can worry about a damn man, because I can promise you there's 500,000 out here at least that would give you the time of day. Just saying.
The beginning, like I'm treasured and safe, not like I'm just here because you really don't have a choice. And you'll see quite a number of messages like this. It's basically an unbroken string of text messages all the way up to the day that she kills Quentin.
Eek, if you need
August 6th. Yeah, go get yourself some ass. I know.
Yeah, go get yourself some ass. I know mine is good enough. Never was, never will be. That's okay. Well, then, Eek, if you ever need to talk, you can email me, hon.
Mine is not good enough. Never was, never will be. September 10th. You're the reason I'm angry every day. You're the reason I'm depressed, why I feel the way I do about myself. Now, this is not a minor thing for her. I told you it's probably the biggest thing emotionally going on in her life. the way that she perceives herself to be being treated by Daniel, and perhaps to some degree actually was being treated by him.
She sent a
At least how
picture
she
crying. Oh,
This is such a big deal for her.
I didn't mean anything. I was just saying if anybody ever needs to talk, you guys can email me.
That with her phone,
It's
at
allegedly
one point she
speculating at
filmed
gmail.com. Sorry.
something that can only be described as a digital
Love you too,
suicide note. All right, she's in the car, and you'll hear her at the end say, "I've got to go. I made it to the river." She's in her car, evidently contemplating driving her car into a river and ending her life.
That's a really sad thing to hear. If anybody has ever felt that way or is feeling that way, please call the Suicide Help Hotline. I will leave it in the description box below. That's an awful way to feel, and I hate that anybody ever out there ever feels that way. There's always somebody out there for everybody that will love you, no matter what. And she's not an ugly person. Her personality is ugly, and the things she did are horrendous, but she could have turned her life around and been a way better productive member of society, in my opinion. I mean, she wouldn't, I don't think she'd have trouble getting a man if she'd have just maybe stopped and thought about things a little more before reacting, and she probably could have changed her life.
And she starts out saying goodbye to her children. She has some kind words to say about Zane. She has some kind, loving words to say about Sky. You might perceive that she momentarily kind of seems to be at a loss for what exactly to say about Quentin, our victim, the middle child. And then she goes on to explain that the message is clearly addressed to Danny.
Okay, let me tell you what I think real quick. I think she was feeling not so loved by her man. She cheated, possibly. I don't know if she cheated, but either way, in between the oldest son and the youngest son, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, he just said have the same daddy. And then the middle child is Quentin, which is her child by somebody else that the boyfriend is living with every day and seeing the result of possibly an affair, or you having another relationship in between being with him. So that's hard for him to deal with, and therefore he's not showing you love like you want and you need, and therefore you're taking that out on the child when it's not the child's fault that he was born and brought into this earth. It's what you did in between the time periods of being with that man, allegedly. Thank you, Jenny. I'm not sure exactly on who, like I know Quentin Simon has a different father, and I think he said the oldest one and the youngest one have the same father. So, in my opinion, Quentin was the issue with the boyfriend seeing the result of her being with another man every day, and then she is taking it out on him, on Quentin, going by what he just said, and that's really sad that Quentin had to live a life where he wasn't as loved as his siblings were, in my opinion.
She goes on to attribute what she's about to do to the way that Danny has treated her. Now, this is a 4-minute some video. It's a little long for an opening statement, but we're going to watch the whole thing. And we're going to watch the whole thing because it's an important window into her state of mind at this stage in time. This video was filmed in August of 2022. But the evidence in terms of the text messages and her statements will show that.
After this video, I'm going to have to go, but I will let you guys know exactly where we are in the trial. So if you want to go to Court TV afterwards and pick right up where we left off and continue watching, you're more than welcome. So we'll watch this video together, and then I'll have to go.
Nothing really changed between when this video was filmed and October 4th of 2022. So with that preview, I'll play this for you now.
To Sky, Zane, and Quentin. Mama tried. And Mama's not here no more because she doesn't love you. I do.
Okay, to Quentin, Mama tried and Mama's not here because she doesn't love you. I am
I can't love myself.
I think we heard that.
If I can't love myself, how can I love y'all?
Trigger warning.
I've tried over and over and over, and I failed.
This is hard to
I
watch.
screamed for help, and I don't get it.
Eek, stop.
Sky, you are such
Lord
a
have
beautiful
mercy, Eek.
little girl.
You're bringing up some good points,
I
though.
wish I could watch you grow up. I wish I could hold you for your first heartbreak, because my mama didn't. Sky, I love you, baby girl. And Zane, you were so handsome, so sweet, so protective. You were gonna be such a good man one day. Just a good man. I hope you grow up and you learn what loyalty is. And you learn how to treat a woman and how to love a woman. And Quentin, baby, you are a middle child. You're so happy all the time. You smile all the time.
So, Eek, this is supposed to be her goodbye video because she's going to go drive her car off a bridge.
I wish I could see what kind of man you would be too. And Vinnie, I loved you.
Right, Eek? Lord have mercy.
I loved you with all of me, all of my heart. I loved you. I wish that the crowd you walked on when we found each other.
I worship
We were both in such fragile states. And I built you back up.
I don't, can y'all hear what she's saying? You're so funny, Eek. But can y'all understand what she's saying? If you can't, let me know and I'll try to tell you what she's saying. Lord have mercy, Eek.
I would do anything for you. But during this time that I was building you back up, you were doing things that would eventually tear me back down.
Still not cried, in my opinion.
And even now, after everything that I think has been brought to light, hopefully it was everything, right? Even now, you look at me with the same look in your eyes as you have when you talk about Caitlin. I don't hear the love in your voice anymore. I don't feel the love in your touch anymore. And I definitely don't see the love in your eyes anymore. If you truly loved me like you claimed you did, you wouldn't have done all that. Even when I was carrying.
But again, you're letting this man control every aspect of your life. If you really feel that way, tell him to get out of your house and find somebody else that's going to build you up. I know it's hard, but there's avenues other than all of this.
Your child and hating myself every fucking day, crying myself to sleep every fucking night because you did not want to have sex with me. You did not want to love me. You just did not want me. And I wanted you.
Okay, but that's your sign to roll out. Right, Jenny? That's your sign to roll out or make him roll out.
I wanted you more than life itself. But you've proven that it was only one way.
Oh God, Granny. Welcome, old Granny Annie is traveling again. Welcome to the speculating family. You're funny.
That loyalty, it was all one
Anders, I don't think he did. I think she did it on her own fruition. I don't know. I hope not, but it seems like if he did tell her that by the way she's acting, she would have listened. And again, there's just, I mean, I know you might really love this person, but there's so many other avenues. If he wasn't showing you the love and attention that you deserved, then you got to boot him.
You take care of my kids, okay? You couldn't take care of me. You couldn't love me. You couldn't do me right. So please, for the love of fucking God, do my kids right.
Right, Anders?
And the kids running up at the river now. Bye, Danny.
I'm at the river now. Bye, Danny.
I'm at the river
That's where
now.
she
Bye,
was at.
Danny.
This is her emotional state in the summer, fall of 2022. That brings us back to October 4th. And here I'll give you sort of an overview of what the evidence is going to show.
It's not telling me where we're at. Okay, we are. So if you want to watch this, because I've got to go. Let me make sure I'm not muted. Yeah, I'm not muted. Yeah, and there's crocodile tears in my opinion. If you want to watch this and continue on, we are about 52 minutes and 54 seconds behind. So if you start there, you should catch up to where we're at. And again, I'm going to look and see if there's any actual video footage of Stephen Stearns. If not, I am going to put out a video just reading the article later today. Yeah, she does eat. I agree. Thank you all for being here. If you're watching the replay, thank you for watching the replay. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for hitting that subscribe button and becoming a part of our speculating family. If you want to voice your thoughts, opinions, and speculations, you can join us in chat. I am live during the week on the weekdays at 9:30 and then on the weekends at 10. I know this Friday I won't be live, just letting y'all know. But I'm usually live every day. I try to be. So, yeah. I don't know what, yes, please give us a thumbs up, as Jenny said. I don't know what I'll be covering tomorrow. I'm going to try to get another photo video out if I have time to do that today. And we'll come up with something. I'll post it later on this evening, what we're going to be live about in the morning. Thank you, and thank you, Tammy Wren. Yes, I hope everybody has the best day that you've ever had in your whole entire life. Thank you all for being here, commenting, making me laugh. I hope Monday is a great start to the week for you, like Jenny just said. And yep, I hope today is the best day you've ever had in your whole entire life. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.